What about Ggg-Brook?
Ggg-Brook?
He said 157 he'll fight you.
I think it's too small.
Too small?
Too small, yeah. My focus on 160 middle division right now. Ggg-Brook or everybody just trash talk,
DONTAE'S Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So for those of you guys who follow my channel, you're probably familiar with my Street Fighter reference that I use a lot when it comes to these David and Goliath type of fights. When it comes to fights like Canelo versus Alvarez, and now, of course, the fight this weekend, the middleweight champion versus the welterweight champion, Golovkin versus Ggg-Brook. I've always said that this is a handicap match for Ggg-Brook because he's naturally smaller. He's coming into this fight with a health bar that's probably about 20% full, while Golovkin is coming into this fight with a full health bar. So obviously that means while Golovkin can make a lot of mistakes, he can get hit a couple of times, Ggg-Brook, he can only probably make about 1 or 2 mistakes. And that was the case in the Canelo versus Khan fight, right? We've seen Khan in some ways exposing Canelo Alvarez's boxing ability. But once again, even though Canelo is getting hit with multiple shots, Canelo started the fight off with a full health bar. So it was an uphill battle for Amir Khan. Soon as Khan gets caught with one good shot, there goes his entire health bar. So with this being said, as I kept thinking about the Street Fighter analogy, I said, you know what, I'm gonna put a picture of a Street Fighter clip on my Instagram. So I put a picture up there a couple weeks ago. And it's just so funny how things work out. It turned out that Daslam and Zangief, in a lot of ways, those characters resemble Golovkin and Ggg-Brook. You have the much bigger, naturally stronger Eastern European fighter, Zangief, going against the naturally smaller fighter that often tries to keep his opponents at a distance with his long arms, which is Daslam, right? That's most likely Ggg-Brook's blueprint in this fight. Ggg-Brook is most likely not trying to fight an inside fight, which I think it would help for him to mix it up every now and then, but if you're not comfortable on the inside, you're just not comfortable. So therefore, for the most part, that's the type of style that Ggg-Brook will implement in this fight, is a Daslam style. And Zangief, he wants to impose his size, strength, his power, and he wants to turn it into a street fight. And coincidentally, that is exactly what the Eastern European fighter Gennady Golovkin just said today to IFL TV. He said, I'm ready for 12 rounds. I'm ready for a street fight. I like crazy fight. I like street fight. This is exactly what Gennady Golovkin said. What makes this so ironic is, like I just told you guys, I posted that picture, a Street Fighter picture. Matter of fact, I even did a Photoshop. I had 2 pictures that I put on Instagram. I had a Photoshop picture. Matter of fact, I'll put it up on this video. But I had this Photoshop picture, as you guys can see now on the screen, and I had the original Street Fighter picture that I had uploaded on my Instagram. And I had tagged Gennady Golovkin and Ggg-Brook in both pictures, right? How funny is it now Gennady Golovkin is saying he likes street fight. He wants a street fight. On top of all of that, today, I was going to do a Street Fighter breakdown video. I was going to do a complete Street Fighter breakdown video with clips of Daslam and Zangief. Then all of a sudden, I see this interview that Golovkin does with IFL TV, and out of nowhere, he's talking about a street fight. So I think that is a hell of a coincidence. So anyway, let's go ahead and look at some of these Street Fighter clips. Once again, Zangief being Gennady Golovkin and Daslam being Ggg-Brook. Let's go ahead and look at some of these clips and see how they play out. Let's look at this first clip right here. All right, so for the sake of this clip, the first thing you notice is Zangief, he has a lot more health than Dazlum does. But Dazlum is doing the right thing. He's doing the smart thing. He's trying to keep the fight at a distance that he's comfortable with, right? You see him right now, he's flaming up Zangief. He's doing everything that he's supposed to do. And Zangief is trying his best to get close to Dazlum because obviously with him being the much stronger, bigger fighter, he's going to inflict a lot of damage. There you go right there. You see Zangief, he's already inflicting some damage, and every time Zangief hits Dazlum, Dazlum's energy, it goes down significantly, and there it goes right there. He slams him and he knocks him out. So in microcosm, this is exactly how a lot of people believe this fight will play out. So let's go ahead and look at another clip. Now this clip right here, this is the actual clip that I uploaded on my Instagram today before I found out that Gennady Golovkin, he used this Street Fighter reference. So this clip, it plays out pretty much like the first clip. Once again, Dazlum, he starts off very well, controlling distance. Then he makes the mistake of getting too close to Zangief, and that's when Zangief, he starts to inflict a lot of damage. And that's pretty much the beginning of the end, because this is when Zangief, he grabs Dazlum and then he closes the show with a KO. All right, now let's get into this final clip. Now in this last clip, I'm gonna take you guys back to the classic Street Fighter, and in this round, things are gonna play out a lot different. Now, in the beginning of this fight, as always, Dazlum is doing a great job controlling distance. But the way he really controls this round is with perfect timing. Notice how his long arms and legs act as a jab, basically giving him an opportunity to set up other power attacks. So as I say that, you can see Zangief, who is desperately trying to get on the inside. He finally gets close to Dazlum and lands a couple of shots, but by that time, the damage is already done, and Dazlum, he takes out the bigger, stronger Zangief. So when it comes to Dazlum, which would be AKA Ggg-Brook, in order for him to have any chance in this fight, he's going to have perfect timing and defense. He's going to have to control Gennady Golovkin, keep him at the range that he feels comfortable at. But his biggest problem, Ggg-Brook that is once again, he's going to start the fight off with a handicap. He does not have a full health bar going into this fight. And that is the reason why this is simply David versus Goliath, even though we know in the fairy tale story, David, he beats Goliath. Something else that Ggg-Brook really is going to have to pay attention to and look out for is Gennady Golovkin's counter right hand over Ggg-Brook's jab. I don't know why, but that seems to be the most dangerous weapon in this fight to me for Gennady Golovkin. Don't get me wrong, he has a great left hook. He has a great jab himself, but Ggg-Brook has a great jab, and I know he's going to be using it a lot. And I could just see Gennady Golovkin trying to time that jab perfectly with an overhand right. And that's the kind of pull counter, a la Floyd Mayweather. That's the type of pull right hand counter that could really cause Ggg-Brook a lot of problems in this fight. You throw your jab and you don't see that counter right hand coming, it could be a wrap. That could be the beginning of the end right there. So Ggg-Brook definitely needs to watch out for that pull right hand counter by Gennady Golovkin. And we'll see, man. We'll see what'll happen. It's pretty interesting. Going back to Gennady Golovkin saying he wants a street fight and he likes crazy fight. It's pretty interesting he says that, because earlier he was praising the transformation of Ggg-Brook, and he was saying, wow, I can't believe, you know, he got so big and he looks strong. This is definitely my biggest challenge. This is my biggest step up. Golovkin is even admitting that this is his biggest step up, fighting the welterweight champion Ggg-Brook. But what was really interesting is when Gennady Golovkin, he said, I'm now changing my game plan. Now that I see how strong and how big Ggg-Brook looks, I'm changing my game plan. And I was telling you guys in my last video, I didn't really know what that suggested. Did it mean that Golovkin, he's going to use more of a systematic approach where he's going to break him down slowly like he did David Lemieux, where it's going to be more of boxing style instead of Mexican style? Or does it mean he's going to actually throw even more caution to the wind and he's just going to be on Ggg-Brook like white on rice? Is Golovkin going to fight at this crazy pace that doesn't allow Ggg-Brook to think in there, which is what Golovkin may want to do, is force Ggg-Brook to just fight off an instinct and get out of his game plan? There's a lot of questions. I really don't know. But we're going to find out this Saturday. We're going to find out this Saturday. Once again, this is a great card. Regardless if you think this is a mismatch or not, this is a great fight. This is a great card when you look at the fights that we've had on HBO. When you consider the fact that Canelo Alvarez's last two fights were on pay-per-view against Amir Khan and now Liam Smith. So now we have two fights, a doubleheader, and both of the fights are good. Matter of fact, the Roman Gonzalez versus Carlos Cudras fight is more relevant than this fight is when you really think about it, because of the award that is at stake. Roman Gonzalez, he is risking a lot more than Gennady Golovkin. Roman Gonzalez is actually moving up in weight, facing an undefeated champion and WBC champion Carlos Cudras. And Carlos, he's been saying throughout the entire promotion, I'm much bigger than him, I'm much stronger than him, I am going to knock Roman Gonzalez out. So there is much more at stake when it comes to Roman Gonzalez's fight. When it comes to Ggg-Brook, unfortunately, or actually when it comes to Gennady Golovkin, unfortunately, he's in a lose-lose situation. I mean, if he knocks Ggg-Brook out fast, then people are going to say he knocked out a welterweight. If he struggles in this fight, people are going to say he's overrated. People are going to say, why did he struggle against a welterweight? So the only thing Golovkin could really do is he could blast him out and just hurry up and get to the next opponent. And hopefully that next opponent is a Danny Jacobs, a Chris Eubank, or even someone at super middleweight. I mean, of course, the best thing Golovkin could do is just completely obliterate Ggg-Brook. And, you know, it won't be as big of a win as a Kovalev versus Ward fight, of course, or even a Roman Gonzalez versus, you know, Cudras fight, but it would help Golovkin maintain his reputation of being this destroyer in the ring if he gets Ggg-Brook out of there with ease like he did against Dominic Wade. So that's pretty much all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.